Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all my podcast listeners. This is again your host, Brian, and welcome to Inspiring Educators. So, for our episode, we have an educator from the United States. He's here to share to us his journey in education. How did he become an educator? Some of his projects, and also the main point of our podcast, the listeners. How does he inspire his learners? So without further ado, let's all welcome Amir Doctry. Amir, good
Hello.
morning. How are you?
Hello. Good evening. It's good morning for me, but how are you today?
I'm doing great, and thanks for stopping by to my podcast. It's really, an honor to have a wonderful educator to be here.
Thank you for having me. I'm honored just to be here. So thank you for thinking of me. Appreciate it.
All right, you're most welcome. So, as always, before we get started with all the educational things, me and my listeners would like to know more about you, Amir. So, can you introduce yourself to us, please?
Sure. So my name is Amir Dakshri. I'm the co-founder of Glean, which is Global Learning Exchange of All Nations. And I'm also a middle school teacher in Montclair, New Jersey, to sixth graders in math and science.
All right. So, you're a middle school teacher, and then you have this organization that you called as Green. So,
Yes.
I'm interested. Okay, before we ask you how did you end up becoming an educator, can you share us right now what is Green all about, please?
I would love to. So, Glean, otherwise known as Global Learning Exchange of All Nations, is a collective of volunteer youth located all around the world to help other students located in other parts of the world where they don't have electricity, running water, a quality education. I started this in 2019. I went to Tanzania and I went to a school because I'm an educator, and I was on vacation, but I just wanted to know what the school was like. And what I saw there, it really truly broke my heart, and I felt like I had to do something. I felt like I had to act. And as a teacher in Montclair, the town that I teach in, I'm also from there. So I know what Montclair is capable of. And the students there are very, very knowledgeable and compassionate and empathetic. So I knew that if I showed a video of me touring that school, that I might be able to start something amazing, something great. And on the first day of school, I showed the video of me walking around and interviewing the principal, and you could hear a pin drop. The kids were crying. Some of them were really, really motivated to do something. So when the video was over, I asked the class who wants to help, and all of the students' hands went up, and they really all wanted to help. And that was the beginnings of the Global Learning Exchange of All Nations. We started well before the pandemic began. We started in February 4th, and going straight into, I had no idea that this pandemic thing was going to happen, but this program has been strengthened by the world's events, and everything that's happening kind of put everybody all around the world on the same boat. And it was perfect timing for a project like this, where you have students in New Jersey cooperating with students in Japan and students in Vietnam and Russia and what have you. It's the perfect time because now we all have something in common. We all have a similar struggle. And throughout this whole thing, throughout the pandemic, it just got, so much stronger. So Global Learning Exchange of All Nations is a collective of volunteer students that care about one another. They make friends with one another, and they work on charity projects with one another. And it's my baby. This is what I love to do.
Yeah, just like my podcast. All right, I love that phrase you mentioned. It's our baby. This is just
Yeah.
a project that suddenly boom, It came
Yes.
out of nowhere just because of our passion. And Amir, I'm a bit curious, because of all the countries, okay,
Mhm.
why Tanzania? I'm just curious with that.
Um, because I was going there on vacation. It's really a funny story how the whole Africa trip for me started.
Mm-hmm.
But I've always wanted to go. My science teacher, the science teacher that I work with in my school, he told me that he went and it was like the best trip of his life. So he told me to go to a safari first and then go to Zanzibar. So I went to this place called Ngorongoro Crater. I did a safari. I saw some beautiful, Tanzania is so beautiful and the people are really nice. And it was so beautiful. I just felt like I was on another planet. And then I went to Zanzibar, and Zanzibar is an island off the coast of Tanzania, and it was amazing. Bluest water, Indian Ocean. The seafood was amazing.
Wow.
It was just the most beautiful place that I've ever been to. And when I was there, I started talking to the people.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the people there are like really poor. They don't have a lot of job opportunities. So, that is what connected me to Tanzania, because even though it's so beautiful, they have some of the same problems, if even worse, in education than there are in New Jersey. So that's why Tanzania, I went there, I saw the situation, and I made a promise to them. I made a promise to those kids in that school, in that principal, and those people that took me to that school. I made a promise to them that I was going to help them. So that's why Tanzania, and that's why the Nangui Primary School in Nangui, Zanzibar.
Yeah, that was a really, a quite interesting story because out of a special trip, a dream vacation, suddenly
Mhm.
you realize that there is something that is missing during that trip. So maybe, there's this teacher's heart that allowed you to go into that school that you're helping right now, and I love the part that you said that you gave or left a promise to them that you would help them. You
Yes.
showed a very compassionate heart, not just as a compassionate people, a compassionate man, but a compassionate teacher. That's what we are
Thank
made of, right? So
you.
that was that was really interesting. We're just getting started, but then we're getting into the heart of our topic.
I teach with my heart, man. Like if I could tell you anything as a teacher, I teach with my heart, and that's how this whole thing started. And when I went there and I saw the kids on the floor learning, having class, it just made my heart so much bigger, and I haven't been the same since. And what you see behind me, that's
Yeah. Oh, to
that's the
my
result.
to my dear podcast listeners, the background that Amir is using is the logo of his baby project. Okay, Gleam. This is really interesting. And don't you worry, listeners. I'm gonna be putting the image here as the cover of this podcast just to give tribute to his very wonderful story. Okay, so you're very lucky right now, Amir, because usually
Thank
I just use a default cover art,
you.
but then as a tribute, okay? Because I love the backstory. That's why we're
Thank
gonna give tribute, okay?
thank you so much.
Now, like I've said, we're just getting started, but the heart of the topic is there. Now, my next question for you, Amir. So,
Mhm.
how did you end up becoming an educator? There are lots of jobs in this world, right? You can be
Of
a
course.
soldier, you can be an athlete, you can be an engineer, but why teacher? Would you like to share us your story about that?
Sure. It really goes back a long way. I started in 2009, but teaching in general, I would start with my dad. Like my dad always, he was a great teacher. He taught me how to swim. And from there, once I became maybe 19 or 20, I started lifeguarding. And then from there, I started teaching kids how to swim. And it really brought me joy just watching the kids develop and watching them, be able to do something that before I started working with them, they didn't know how to do. It was just amazing to me. So from there, I started substituting in 2009. And I did that for 2 years. It was very difficult because you don't get a lot of respect as a substitute teacher coming in, and you're only going to be there for a few days, but I was able to get respect from those kids, and those kids were able to see, who I was and that I did care, even though I was a substitute at the time. So then after that, I started working this real hard district in Newark, New Jersey. It was very tough, but if you can work there in the inner city, you can pretty much work anywhere. And years later, I was fortunate enough to find a job in the school district that I am a product of, which was just a godsend and a perfect place for me to start working. So that's how my time in Montclair started, which is just like a series of teaching in these different school districts and just finding a perfect match with the colleagues that I have, the students that I have. So that was how I started, which was, teaching kids how to swim.
Wow, that's a really good start because, as a lifeguard, you're teaching someone to save life. And after that, you are now building lives. That's really a good transition, man. That's really good because, at first you're trying to teach them how to save our lives, which is very precious. And now you are there building it. Okay, you're starting to be part of it. You're not just saving them. You're trying to be part. You're trying to make a better life. You got a great story there, man. That's a really great story. A very good transition, right? That was really interesting. And thanks to your dad, by the way, because
Oh yeah, absolutely. Nothing would be possible without my dad, my mom, a bunch of different key players worked for this, Glean. I wouldn't have been able to do it without a bunch of very, very important people who are like family to me now. But yeah, absolutely. My dad and my mom, they both help people. My mom was a social worker. She actually helped me get my first job teaching, which was substituting, because she knew the principal and got me an interview. So she had a hand in me becoming a teacher. My dad had a hand in me becoming a teacher. So it was meant to be, even though I never wanted to be a teacher when I was little.
I think, it was really good because you were there teaching them, at first just swimming, but now you're teaching, lifelong learnings to them. Most especially you starting this green project, right? This is really a good transition in your life. Again, I'm starting to be speechless because, I love the stories, okay? I love how you started. You're not just, the typical, it was my dream, I started like this. But then, there's a good story. There's a good transition. So, again, listeners, we're just getting started, but Amir is giving us lots of good stories, all right? Now, up to my second question, Amir, all right? We all knew, okay? And it's not, how will I say this? This is not something fresh because COVID-19 has been here since last year. Up until now, we're still encountering it. It's still spreading. Though we have the vaccines, we have solutions, but it's not moving away as what we really wanted. Right. So my question to you, Amir, I wanted to know, how did you cope up to the COVID-19 pandemic situation as Amir and as Teacher Amir? So there are two scenarios that you're going to be sharing. How did you cope up personally? And then how did you cope up as a teacher? So would you like to start which of which?
Woo. So as a person, it was very scary. It was very frightening because in America, it didn't go down like everywhere else. Like in America, it was like nothing at first,
Mm-hmm.
and then it was everything got shut down, and I saw it happening. So for me, personally, and as a teacher, it kind of went hand in hand because I had already started Glean, and the teacher from Japan,
Mm-hmm.
Mariko, who I work with, she told me that schools in Japan had closed for a month, and that was a few weeks before we closed as a school. So I saw that we were going to be out of school before anybody else in my school did. And so as a teacher, I can see it coming. As a person, I
Mm-hmm.
was scared because I knew that everything was going to be different. I prepared my team, my colleagues. I told them what was coming. We started practicing how to do Zoom meets before anybody else did. My students, I told them that it was coming. I told them what I heard, and I told them that we were going to have to prepare to do school online for a long time. And I told them that before it even happened. So as a teacher, I was prepared.
Mm-hmm.
As a person, nothing can prepare you for something like that.
Yes.
So I was right in the middle of a move. I was moving from one city to a city closer to where my school was.
Uh-huh.
I had moved everything in, and I was literally there for 5 days before I made the decision to leave the country and to move to Mexico. I did not want to be in America for the pandemic. I knew that it was going to be bad. When I left, we were number 8 in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And I left March 30th of last year. And I was scared. I was just scared. I'm single. I don't have any kids. I don't have, like a family that I had to stay there for. So I was looking at being alone in my house for months. So I didn't want to do that. And I just went to the airport and I said, listen, where can I go? And they gave me 2 options. And they said, you can go to London or you can go to Cancun. And then the guy looks at me and he's like, Cancun, right? Like, yeah, yeah. So I moved my whole life back March 30, and I focused on teaching online, and I focused on building the program
Mm-hmm.
because I knew that the kids were going to need support mentally, emotionally. I knew it was going to be tough for me, and for me, teaching saved me. I was really depressed going into the second month of quarantine and not seeing my kids. I really got sad. And I wondered, like, if I'm feeling like this, I know the kids have to be feeling like this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And through Glean, it brought all of us together. School is no longer mandatory. So the students did not have to attend class. That's how we started. They did not have to attend class, but my class kept the meetings at the same day, same time, and nobody stopped coming throughout the whole pandemic. And then once we started doing ambassadors conferences with the rest of the partner countries in Glean, which was when we first started, Russia, Vietnam, Japan, Belarus, and us. There were 5 countries. India came in. But when we first started, it was those 5 countries that had conversations with each other. I started building relationships with the dear teachers that that told you about me. And my friendships with them, it just became super duper tight. We all bonded and we just got so close. So for me, my saving grace, the thing that really got me through this pandemic was my students,
Mm-hmm.
my team, at work, my sixth grade team, and my team for Glean, the teachers all around the world, we really rallied around each other. We worked together very close to make Glean what it is. And we just focused on that. And we kind of shut out the rest of the world and what was going on, because the news was nonstop. This many people dying, this many people dying, this, and it was a lot. So I chose to focus on the students and achieving the goal, or trying to achieve the goal of helping students with no opportunities on the other side of the world. Because while this whole pandemic thing was going on, the students in Tanzania, they did not have an opportunity to work remotely. They never got remote school. So when everything happened and everything closed down, they didn't get school at all. They got nothing. So the rest of my students saw that and they wanted to do something, and we ended up starting some fundraisers for them and working on getting them supplies and stuff like that. It kind of helped us focus while the rest of the world was just kind of like going crazy.
Yeah. Well, that's a good, you adapted well. Allow me, if that's the right term, you've adapted well to the situation, because you mentioned that prior to the COVID-19 pandemic, you are using already technologies. You taught your students, you shared with your team in your grade school, faculty group, and then after that, you are starting Lean already. So somehow, as a teacher, you are well prepared. You have a good backup, right? Because of the technology, you know how to use Zoom, you have other applications, so not a big drama on the teaching side. But then personally, right, that like you've said, it is very difficult to prepare to an unknown disease. For an event, it's really difficult. But this time, it is a disease that, would suddenly pop out. You don't know where it started. You don't know if your next door neighbor has it or have it, right? So it was really difficult as a person to prepare this. But what I love is your response on how did you cope up as a teacher. Really, again, really remarkable. The preparedness, the awareness, it's already in there. That's really fantastic. All right. Now, we're about to end, but then we still got the highlight of our podcast. Okay. So the highlight question here is that, how does Teacher Amir inspire his learners? Do you have any magic touch, the things that you do, a mantra? Okay, would you like to share us, how do you inspire your young learners?
I wish that my students were here to answer that question. They can tell you better than anybody that I really inspire them to be intrinsically motivated. I inspire my students to be motivated on the inside by being motivated through their emotions. I consider myself more of a coach than an instructor. My teaching style is to give students what they don't have, which is confidence sometimes, leadership abilities. I want to, as an educator, I lift my students up and I give them the courage that they need, because they already have the capabilities. My students are National Honor Society members. Most of my students are straight A students. I have a very, very special group of kids anyway, but with me being their teacher, I inspire them by just opening their eyes to what they're capable of and their responsibilities because of what they have at their disposal, what they are capable of. I tell every one of my students that they are my superheroes. I might be their hero, and their parents Their parents, I might be their hero, but those students, they're my heroes, they're my superheroes because of what they've accomplished by working with me, by allowing me to be their teacher. And it's just a boomerang of inspiration. Sometimes I might feel like quitting Glean, because it's hard. Sometimes I might not want to be a teacher that day. I might want to just relax for a little while. My students show me how important I am to them. Every time I'm on a Zoom conference with them, every time we work together, I am inspired by them. We were able to send a box of books through Books of Africa to that school in Tanzania. 3 boxes, 3 huge boxes. And that was all on my students did that. They took initiative and it was in their heart. They said, we want to do something for those kids and we're going to do it. And that inspired me a great amount. So how do I inspire students? I inspire students by letting them know what they're capable of, letting them know that they can change this world that we live in to make it a better place. When our students see what they're capable of, and when these other students around the world can see what some of the students in America have done, and students in Japan that work with us, they sent supplies to Tanzania as well. They sent them school supplies because they were inspired by having a conversation with the students in America. Inspiration works always, always. And for me, just being able to talk to those students and let them know that they have the ability to change the world, that was enough motivation that they needed. And that's what kept me going. So I inspire students by allowing them to see what their true capabilities are. And that in turn inspired me. And that in turn also inspired the teachers that work in Glean, because I know that they love seeing the best parts of their students come out and shine. We got to know these students so well over the last year. Yeah.
That was really nice. That was really nice. I'm currently right now, okay, that's why I'm just looking, because I'm speechless, because it's not typical, or I don't know what's the right term, but it's not typical that you approach a student as a coach, because as a coach, I have this kind of mindset because I used to play basketball. When I was running, there's also a coach that's helping me, For me, a coach and a teacher, they're both helping their students. But then what's stuck on my mind when you say the word coach is they motivate. Yeah, teachers motivate, right? But then when you say teacher, they teach. Okay, I'm not quite sure. Okay, I'm not sure if you're gonna accept that mindset that I have, but the coach always motivates. The coach will always ask you to give your best. Okay, because I have a coach when I was running that. If you think it's difficult, look straight to the road, because there is always an end of that. Whenever I'm already tired of running, because I usually run full marathons, ultra marathons, so that's a long distance, right? So whenever I'm on that distance, I would just look straight to the road, and then I will pursue because of his motivational words. That's why a great way of motivating your student came from what you've experienced. If I'm right, because you started as a lifeguard, a coach who teaches kids in swimming, right? So I would separate a coach to a teacher, because coach really motivates. Okay, they would really push you. Because sometimes, I'm not saying us, okay, the group of teachers, you have me, my other teachers, we are also motivating, but other teachers, they tend to forget the word motivation. They just enter to the classroom, give the lessons, look at the
Right.
clock after an hour,
Right.
done.
Right. 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 No,
Lack of
I've never.
motivation.
Yes. Yeah.
And that's what I
No.
see, and that's what I adore with you, because you started with the word motivation. You started with the idea that you unlock their capability. And I love the idea or the phrase that you use. You consider them as your superhero. Because young
Yes.
kids, okay, the levels of the kids that you're teaching, if someone believes in them, their morale would immediately go up, skyrocket.
Yes. It does.
So that's really an approach, an amazing approach, because to share with you, okay, I believe my listeners knows this, but what I handle are senior high school students, those who are about to go to college,
Mhm.
16, 17, 18, and then I also have university students. So, the age, they tend to be left alone. Just give them the work, they will do it. And then, senior high school students, they are at that stage wherein, should we act as a teenagers, or are we already young adults? But compared to the students that you have, you are still creating. You're still trying to put ideas to their mind, which
Of
will
course.
help them achieve their full potential.
Always.
That's why I really adored the technique. Okay, I will consider that as a technique, right? But then what you're doing is straight from the heart. The mind will just help it, right? It's a good combination. If everything starts here and then the mind would support it, the output would be fantastic.
Absolutely.
And you are one of a kind, a fantastic teacher. And right now, I would be putting a seal at the back of Glean that you are an inspiring educator, Amir.
Thank you. Thank you, Brian.
Really love this, right? So now,
Yeah, I love
I haven't told this to you during the debriefing, okay?
it. Okay.
But then there's a surprise part. So
Okay.
usually, okay, don't worry, you're not gonna sing, you're not gonna dance, okay?
Okay.
But
All right.
I usually give opportunity to my guests to
Okay.
give final words, greet some, your friends, your colleagues, most especially because you got a very awesome program, a project, a club, your baby, right? So I'm gonna be giving you this opportunity, okay? You could invite, give thanks to all the teachers, say few words, inspire them. All right. So, Amir,
Sure.
I'm giving you my podcast floor. Go ahead, please.
Thank you. So first and foremost, shout out to you, Brian. Thank you for having me on the show. And I want to give thanks to my whole Glean team, all of you. It started with 5 countries and it became so much more than that. I will see you all at the next Ambassadors Conference. We are growing, we're maturing, and hopefully we're going to become something that does not exist yet, which is a network of global students and teachers that can see each other using 360 cameras and virtual reality. That's where I want to go with this program. I want to make a program that allows students all over the world to step in each other's shoes and see the world through each other's eyes. That would create more informational students, smarter students, students that adapt to other teaching methods that they haven't been exposed to. I want to put 360 cameras in the hands of my colleagues all around the world so that they can transport us into their classrooms. That's what's next. And I really, I love this program so much. And I thank you for giving me the floor. Thank you to everybody in the Glean team. Go to our Facebook page, please. It's Glean. If you go to Facebook, all you got to do is search Glean. It's a Facebook group, Global Learning Exchange of All Nations. We have a YouTube channel. Just type in Global Learning Exchange and it goes in. And we have a fundraiser through Books of Africa, which if you look up Glean for Tanzania in your in your Google search engine, you will find our fundraising page, which would help us sponsor 529 boxes of books in a container shipment going to Tanzania. So those are some of the things that we're working on right now. We're like right in the middle of those projects, and just wanted to let everybody know, in case you wanted to support, go to Books for Africa, Glean for Tanzania, and you can donate and help out the students in Tanzania. So thank you. Thank you, Brian.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. And definitely, you got my support. Like I mentioned, you'll be actually, Amir, you'll be the first one, okay? Because if you're gonna check my podcast page via Anchor, I just use a default cover. But then because I was really inspired from the bottom of my heart right now, I'm really inspired. That's why I'm gonna be editing, okay? I'm gonna be editing the cover art of your episode just to give your club, your baby, a shout out on my podcast. All right, I'm gonna be putting it in there. I'm just gonna put my small inspiring educator there, but the actual logo will be yours. All right, that's how I can do my simple support to you. Okay, showing how I love educators. Okay, the simplest I can do is to be, to let your organization let you shine in a very simple platform. Okay, so again, Amir, from the bottom of my heart, okay, because this is just a one-man podcast. I'm the host, I'm the editor, I'm all the ones who's doing the job. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you very much.
Yeah, you know the struggle. It's a lot of hats to put on, and you're doing everything at the same time. So I understand you're doing a lot.
Yeah, I know. That's why I make this very simple and short. Like I've mentioned to you at the briefing of before we start off. This is very casual. I just wanted you to be who you really are as Amir and as Teacher Amir. And definitely, I saw those two personas from you, Amir. So once again, thank you very much. I'm really honored, okay?
Thank you.
All right. So, dear listeners, you've just heard a very inspirational educator. You've heard how his baby, his Glean Club helped him. A very good transition from a lifeguard, a swimming teacher, onto an educator who keeps on inspiring. And most especially, how he motivates his students, considering them as their hero. So once again, this is Brian, your host for Inspiring Educators. Listen up again to our next episode. See you, listeners. Have a good evening.